Hello people, we are live finally. It's me Phil here in the Digital DJ Tips studio with another Thursday Q&A live. And that means we are here to help you with your DJing questions, to help you with whatever it is you're stuck on in your DJing. So the whole point of this is that this is an hour that's about you. It is a very busy and important time for us here at Digital DJ Tips because this is the time of year, the only time of year when we run our kind of massive Black Friday sale. So we're very, very busy with all of this. If you were to head over to Digital DJ Tips now and look at the website, you would see the Black Friday sale, and we've got everything at massive, massive, massive savings. So if you were looking at buying DJ courses, I would just suggest to you that now might be a very, very good time to go and have a look at them because we only do this once a year. But, you know, it's something that we like to do every single Thursday, and you don't have to pay a penny for it, and that is go live and chat about DJing. So if you don't know us, we're the people behind this book here, which is the #1 book on Amazon on how to DJ. We're also the people behind the Digital DJ Tips website we just looked at, lots of live streams, lots of reviews on YouTube, and all the kind of places where you come across us when we are helping you with your DJ training. We're kind of in all those areas. But look, this is Thursday. This is Thursday Q&A live. So it's just me, Phil, here in the studio. We've got lots of gear set up. Got I can be completely honest with you, it's not even plugged in, but we do have a new Mark NS4 FX here, which we can talk to you about. Standard controller, so any questions you've got about DJ controllers, or any questions you've got about your music, we can help you with. We can help you with questions about kind of pro gear. We've got a pro setup here permanently now, not only set up, but I'm here, I can talk to you about it, which is something we've just added to our kind of live shows. It's always been here, we just haven't had a camera sat over the top of it. So that's been done recently as well. So we've got lots and lots of things that we can kind of pull out. And of course I've got our array of gear, not only here, but under the desk down here. I've got controllers, I've got media players, I've got mixers, I've got everything that you could imagine in this studio. There's the storeroom over there as well, packed full of stuff. So whatever gear you're needing help with, I can help. But also we can help you with chatting about promoting yourself, your gigs, performing, and also what's going on in the world of DJing. You know, there's a lot going on, as always, in the world of DJing. So just this week, over on the Digital DJ Tips website, we've been talking about the DJ Tech Tools cables, which might be a boring subject, but it's not really, not if you want to make sure you're sounding good and your equipment is reliable. Here's one of them. This is one of the new USB cables. This is actually pretty cool because what they've done with these is they've realized that a lot of the time nowadays, our cable that's coming out the back of our DJ controller, this one, is plugging into a computer that's got, get rid of that, we're not plugged in anyway. It's plugging into a computer that hasn't got a USB-A, the old style, but it's got a new one, a USB-C. And therefore they've made this cable that means you don't have to use any adapters, you can just plug it in, and they're surprisingly hard to find, those cables. So DJ Tech Tools have just launched those, and we're always happy to support our friends over at Tech Tools. So we've been talking about that this week. We've been talking about some very interesting new plugins from our friends over at Mixon that help you to make music. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, you've probably read about it over on the site. Do go take a look, and also we'll happily answer any questions. We haven't tried it yet. We've also been playing with cheap little turntables this week. We have been talking about how to DJ with radio edits, just those standard versions of songs that you hear on the radio or that you hear on Spotify. I've got a big new article about that as well on the site. So do go and check that out if you're interested in just DJing with radio edits. It's a really fun thing to do. You don't have to go and spend ages trying to find DJ-friendly edits. And nowadays, with modern DJ gear and all the kind of controls that they've got on modern gear like this, you really don't have to, if you don't want to, mess around with trying to find DJ versions of songs, because you can just use the standard radio ones. So we've been talking about that as well. Lots and lots of stuff then going on. So it's over to you. And really, I just want to spend the next hour, hopefully, chatting with you. Apparently our signal is not in stereo. So, well, there we go. It looks in stereo to me, but I can't tell you why that might be the case. Let's have a little check. No, we're looking good, but maybe that was from the previous time when the broadcast dropped. The broadcast dropped. If you've tuned in here, you might have tried to tune in 5 minutes ago. We just went live, and for the first time ever, I think, it just started flashing and saying, no, you're not on the air. No idea what happened. I just tried it again. So far, so good. Maybe someone forgot to put some money in the meter. Anyway, look, it's about you. Loads of your questions are piling in. This is my question cam. Do you remember those times years ago when I had to actually walk off the camera to get your questions? I had to walk over there. We had a computer set up where that's where I had to go. It's all been changed now. It's all set up now in this wonderful new studio where I've got you here, so I can grab your questions live, and we can mess around with the gear and all that kind of thing. Let's say hello to Robert in the Netherlands, who even picked raspberries in his garden today. Global warming is not always a bad thing, says Robert. Hello, the Ruckus, who says happy Thanksgiving. Indeed, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Hello to Lazio, who says big up from the rainy Scotland. Mixmaster G. Michael. Let's start with this from Michael, who says, have you or any of the team tested the Nanoleaf integration with the Denon Prime units other than the all-in-one units? I cannot get Nanoleaf to integrate with my SC5000s. So for those that don't know, it's actually quite funny you should ask that, because in this rucksack here, I have Nanoleaf. Nanoleaf is these really cool lights. They look like this. And you clip them all together, you get different shapes, and they come with little connectors. And the idea is that you stick them on your wall, and then you can connect them to your smart home. So they work with an app on your phone, they connect to your Wi-Fi, and they give you the ability to have like flashing lights and stuff. You see gamers and YouTubers using them. The reason they're in that bag, people, is that Nanoleaf very kindly sent us a load of them, and we reviewed them, and now I'm taking them back to my home to install them for a long-term test, shall we say, in my daughter's bedroom, and she's extremely excited about that. And we do indeed have one of these units, which is the little Denon DJ Prime Go, which works brilliantly with it. You turn this on, you hit lighting in there, you connect to the same Wi-Fi network, and you can have the lights doing all kinds of cool stuff and control them directly from your Denon DJ gear. Also works with the Numark Mixstream Pro, this one here, and also works with the Prime 4, which we've tested it with. And I would guess it works, well, I know it's meant to work with the new Denon DJ SC Live 2 and 4. Your question though is, does it work with the SC 5000s? And I don't have an answer to that, unfortunately, Michael, because I haven't tried it. We've only got the SC 6000s here in the studio, and we haven't tried it with those either. So the best place for you to head over to is definitely the Denon DJ forum, where I'm sure someone there would be able to help you try and get that working. I mean, it should work, but whether the SC5000s can take that lighting upgrade to the firmware, I don't know. All I would say is make sure you've got the latest firmware running on your unit. But yeah, having lights in your home flashing along to music is really, really cool. I'll tell you a little story. We got sent some Philips Hue lights. Anyone seen the Philips Hue? They're just like bulbs that, again, you just replace things with, and you can get other ones. And you can control those as well from the engine DJ equipment of the type I've just shown you. And I reviewed them, and I was like, yeah, fair enough, I kind of get it. And then I took them home. We only had a couple of them. I took them home, and we just kind of plugged them in because we were bored one Sunday. And we thought, these are amazing, we love it. We've now got loads of them in our house. We went mad. We got them tucked behind the sofa and behind the TV and out on our patio. It really is nice. Having mood lighting is good, but when you can plug your DJ gear in and have them flashing along, brings a whole new element of fun to your DJing at home. So yeah, we're totally sold on smart lights. We think they're great, but unfortunately, I don't know if there's an issue with the SC5000s, Michael. So Denon DJ Forum. So I love the weather updates. It's always Northern Europeans who give me the weather updates. It's never people who live in places where the weather's nice, because the weather's just nice. But thank you for all your updates coming from Northern Europe. J269, hello in Thailand. Hello to Robert, who says, what's your opinion of the Hercules Impulse 500? So the Hercules Impulse 500, there's one over there. I can't get it because our big light, see that light that reflects in my glasses? That one there? That big light is blocking where I've put the Hercules. So to get the Hercules, I'd have to move the light. Yeah, it's a good controller. It's a good basic controller. Kind of like the same kind of thing as the one we got here, although the one we got here is a 4-channel. Same kind of thing as this, which is the Serato Rev 1, same kind of thing as the new Pioneer DJ Flex 4. These are all the same kind of thing. Which one you go for depends upon the exact set of features you want and the exact software you want to use it with. But the Hercules Inpulse 500 is a nice controller for the money if you want to use it with Serato. It's nice that it raises up on those big feet and then you've got a light underneath. I mean, that's pretty cool. But basically, it's an all right controller. I mean, you're not going to get the functionality that you get on bigger controllers and more expensive gear, but that's the same with all of these basic beginner devices, and there are going to be things that you wish it could do better or different, but again, it's the same with all these devices. None of them are perfect. For instance, this one here, which, you know, looks like a really nice controller for your money. It's nicely built, it's got the pads, it's got nice displays and big long pitch faders, and you might look at this and think, well, that's perfect, especially when you see the back of it and you realize it's got the XLR connectors and stuff. But then you look at the effects, which are quite nice on this paddles, but not very nice when you've only got 6 of them and you can't actually assign them or change them or do anything at all with them other than turn them on or off, right? The limitation with this particular one is the effects are very, very limited. But look, the Hercules Inpulse 500 is fine. So I certainly not try and discourage you from buying it, especially because it is hard to get a lot of these controllers nowadays. So if that's the one that you can find, go for it. This is from Sham2K, who says, do you know when Serato DJ 3.0 is coming out? No, but you can get the beta or the beta version, so you could just go and get that and run with that. I know some DJs are using that in performance situations, even though they've got a big skull and crossbones that says, do not use in performance situations. We've got, I'll show you the skull and crossbones, shall I? If you get beta or beta software, they're very, very clear to tell you that you are not allowed to use this in situations where it might go wrong, which makes sense because, hey, you don't want to go wrong in front of your audiences. It looks like they might have removed the skull and crossbones. I'm sure it used to have like a more scary image. Anyway, it looks like this when you try and load a version of Serato, which is not ready for production. Potentially unstable. Do not use in a performance or any live scenario. So there you go, and then most DJs just hit enter, get in, and there they are. And this is a version of Serato, of course, that has got stems in it, which is the big new feature that they've launched with the latest version of Serato software. But I don't actually know when it's coming out. They haven't given us any info on that yet. More questions, please. We're live here on the Digital DJ Tips channels, and we are here for another 40 minutes or so, just answering your questions. That's all I want to do. All I want to do is talk DJing with you. It's what we like doing, what we're best at. So do come and ask your questions. And do remember, of course, that over on the Digital DJ Tips website, every single one of our DJ courses is currently in our Black Friday sale. And that means you can save up to $223 on courses from all of us here, but also Jazzy Jeff, James Hype, Angelo, Laidback Luke, and many, many others. Absolutely everything we've ever made is currently on sale. So do come and take a look. Let's grab another question live. This is on Facebook from Stephen. Hello, Stephen, who says, I've been using Technics, or Techniques as you call them in America, correctly actually. Technics is how we call them in Europe, and we're wrong. I've been reliably informed. I've been using Technics for years with Serato. I'm just wondering if I should make a switch to a controller. By the way, while we're talking about Serato and Technics, so when you're using a set of turntables, I'm missing a call from a very, very old friend, but I really can't take it because, hey, we're live. So there we go. I haven't talked to this guy in 20 years, but look, I'm live with you. So I'm going to have to call him back. I've been using Technics for years with Serato, just wondering if I should make a switch to a controller. It's a good question, and what I was going to show you was this. So up here in my vinyl, I've got these little 10-inch Serato control vinyl. Take a look at that. Shall we look at them here? You can see how big they are if I hold them next to the controller. Aren't they cute compared to a normal 12-inch, which kind of looks like that? And these are what you use. If you want to use DJ software with turntables, you use vinyl like this, right? So you get this stuff and you put it on your turntables and you plug into either a mixer that works with it. So this mixer here works fine with with turntables plugged in and with Serato plugged in. Pro Club mixers do. Or you use a little interface. They're not quite so common anymore. People tend to just use a mixer now, but you can get little interfaces. This is a little interface that will do it for you. And this is a way of plugging your turntables in and your computer in, and then also plugging into your mixer. And it just lets you control your DJ software with your control vinyl. So that is how a lot of people have DJed in the past with Serato and with the decks that they already own. And it's a lovely way of DJing because you get that feel of DJing in the same way you always have with real vinyl and with turntables, but depending on how you set it up, you can use loops and cues and all the stuff of software. But the question is a good one because Stephen wants to know, should he get a controller? So my answer to you, Stephen, would be having a controller is a lot more practical. You can take a controller anywhere with you. You can literally tuck it under your arm in a way that you can't do with turntables and a mixer. The jog wheels are very, very, very good nowadays. I honestly think you wouldn't miss your turntables as long as you're not a DMC standard scratch mixer. And even then, a lot of DJs are quite happy on controllers. So if you think that you're ready for it, I think it's probably worth making that leap. All I would say is if you're using Technics turntables and a good mixer, then you're going to find that you want to move to a decent controller. And so I would argue that the minimum you want to move to is something like a DDJ 1000 from Pioneer, because that is kind of like the controller version of this. It's a controller version of a big setup like this with the same kind of jog wheels and the same kind of feel to the mixer and so on. So you're kind of upgrading from professional turntable gear to what feels very much like professional controller gear. So I'd say definitely look at the DDJ 1000. Look at the DDJ 1000 SRT because that's the Serato version of the DDJ 1000, which is the Rekordbox one, and you definitely want to stick with the Serato one. Thank you for that question. It's awesome. So we're live, people, and that means that you can ask questions. If you get them in quickly, because I never get to the end of the questions, as you regulars know. And also, I'd just like to point out, as I always do at this point, keep calm and ask once. It's only DJing, people, so no need to get angry. No one is getting angry, you're wonderful, but don't get angry. It's only DJing we're talking about. And please only ask your question once. No, we can't get to all your questions, but I do have to tell you that if you are a student of Digital DJ Tips, if you do take us up on buying one of our courses in the Black Friday sale that's now open, up to $223 off, then you get free admission for life to our Facebook group for students called Student Hub, and in there every month we go live and we do exactly something like this, except Steve is with me as well, and we answer every single question, and we don't go away until we have. So if you want to have that kind of elevated level of service, if you like, from me and the team, then come and buy anything at all. And if you are a current student and you're not in there, what are you doing? Get in there, get involved. We'd love to have you in the next one. Right, let's grab a question. This is from Robert, who says the Pilot plugin is loaded on one of my MIDI tracks in Ableton, waiting to be explored right after this stream. What Robert is talking about is this piece of software that we have been covering on Digital DJ Tips, which is called Pilot Plugins. And it's quite a clever idea. So what these are basically artificial intelligence augmented ways of writing your music. So they've got arpeggios, melodies, and bass lines, and they can be written for you. So you kind of turn this on and start turning knobs, and a bass line comes out, or an arpeggio comes out, or a melody comes out. And the idea is it just helps you when it comes to writing music. And I really like the idea, and I like the approach that Mixed in Key takes with this stuff, because let's face it, I'll give you the example I always use on this stuff. I'm not a follower of fashion. I know it's really hard to believe, but I'm not a follower of fashion. But I was reading someone who is a follower of fashion once, who was talking about how basically when you are trying to dress to impress, if you like, trying to make a statement as someone who likes to wear nice clothes, generally the best thing to do is to find one thing that really stands out. And when people see you, they'll be like, oh, I really love what you're wearing. And they'll name that one thing. It could be a shirt, could be a jacket, could be some shoes or whatever. And then everything else you just make to complement it or not to distract from it. And so I think it's often the same with making music. A producer, someone like you trying to make music for the first time, might come up with a really killer idea. You might come up with a riff or just have a drum idea in your head. I love that idea. I know what drums I'm going to use to make that sound. And you'll spend a lot of time getting that part of a song right. And then you kind of know the kind of bass lines you want and the kind of this and the kind of that, but you just want someone to throw them at you so you can finish the idea off and see if it's any good. And that's what these mixed in key plugins are really good at. They've had another series called the Captain plugins, which do things like help you write chords and so on. I just like their approach. I'm a friend of Yakov who writes this software, so I do know this crew. And it's very interesting that they've kind of honed in on this idea that you shouldn't spend, 6 weeks agonizing over every tiny little part when you're trying to quickly just bang an idea down and get it into your software so that you can play it on your dance floors or play it on your mixes and get it out there to the world. You should get some help. So these plugins look really cool. And to give, again, I don't gain from saying this or doing this, but I know that Mixed in Key are offering half price on all these at the moment in their Black Friday sales. So if you are a music producer and you want some help making your tunes a bit quicker, you want someone an artificial intelligence to sit there looking over your shoulder, just helping you to tweak your knobs and finish your stuff off, it might be worth taking a look at that. So thank you very much for sharing that you're going to be taking a look at that very soon. Robert on YouTube. Happy Turkey Day, says Mixmaster G, being a bit irreverent there. So I answered the question on the Hercules for Roberto before, so I'll scroll past that one. Then this one is from LP Remix. Hello LP Remix, one of our regulars here, who says, hypothetically, if you were playing a 2-hour set, 80 tracks approximately, would all your tracks be prepared in mini sets, or would you have some flexibility to play track to track? This is a really good question. Let's talk about music. Let's talk about preparing your music to DJ with. And let's at the same time talk about mini sets. So, when you are DJing, the rule that we teach at Digital DJ Tips to all our DJs, because it's what we do, is that you should take twice the amount of music with you that you're going to need. So if you're going to be playing, as LP Remix says there, a 2-hour set, and if you normally play, I don't play 40 tracks in an hour, so I wouldn't say 80 tracks for a 2-hour set myself. It'd be more like maybe 50. But anyway, however many tracks you normally play in a 2-hour set, you're going to want double. Now, of course, you take all your music, right? You've got a DJ controller. Everything you've got is accessible from there. But that's not the point. The point is that in your DJ software, you should be organizing a set down here in this side by going through, this is just an empty Serato at the moment, but normally you'd have all your tunes here, right, in your library, and you'll have a set here and you'll call it tonight's set. Maybe something a little bit more descriptive, but for now we'll call it tonight's set. And you're going to drag into there, you're going to look through your music and you're going to carefully pick twice the amount of music that you are going to actually play, and you're going to put it into there. And the reason, and you're going to be careful about those, you're going to think about who's going to turn up. Well, what if a different kind of people turn up? Well, what if there's more girls or more boys, or there's some, we get a crowd like we had 3 weeks ago that we weren't expecting, or whatever. You're going to make sure that that set, that double the amount of music that you're going to play, gives you a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C, right? So that's going to take some time. That's going to take some thinking. But what that does is means that when you get to your gig, all you got to do is open that folder and play from that folder. And you're not going to spend all your time like this, worrying about what you're going to play because you haven't done that work ahead of time and you're looking at all the thousands of tunes you own. So the basic rule is take twice the amount of music that you need. And I think the best way of doing that, the easiest way of doing that, is just throw twice the amount of music into a folder. Done. Into a playlist. Done. But there is another way of doing it, and this is the way that we teach when we're talking about playing with radio edits. This is kind of quick mixing. So when you see DJs who are very fast, they're like bang, bang, bang. They're mixing verse, chorus out of there, verse, chorus out of there, verse, chorus out of there, that kind of thing. That kind of DJing is a little bit harder because you haven't got time, even when you've organized a set of twice the amount of music that you need. You haven't necessarily got time to find the next track to play because you need to it's seconds until the next track, right? So we teach another way of doing it, and that's the mini sets idea. So I showed you earlier actually the article, The Complete Guide to DJing with Radio Edits, this article here. And this article here talks about that. So this is where you know you're going to be DJing really, really fast, and you don't want to mess around with getting special versions of songs and all that kind of lame stuff. You just want to use the versions everyone knows, right? So this article talks to you about how you do that. But one of the things it talks about is preparing using what we call mini sets. And mini sets are a really cool way of thinking about your music ahead of time. So a mini set is, and by the way, that article's on Digital DJ Tips, just head there and click on it. A mini set is where you say, here are 2, you could start with 2, or 3 or 4 or 5 or even 10 songs that once I've played one of them, I normally play the others, or at least some of the others, right? We've all got, in the old days, in your Rekordbox, right? I've actually got my Rekordbox here from the old days. Here it is. Here's my Rekordbox. In the old days, when you would pack your music in your Rekordbox, you'd be taking music out and putting it back in, and as you played your gigs, what would happen is the tracks that you used to play together would end up together in the Rekordbox, because when you're taking them out and putting them back, they just end up in little chunks in your box. And so this kind of builds on that idea, and this says, okay, I'm going to put together the songs that I normally play together. And again, getting back to the DJ software, it's going to be here. It's going to be down here. So you're going to have little sets down here, which would say something like, you know, fast pop mini set. And then you could have a classic disco mini set. And then you could have a pop rock mini set, right? So these are going to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 songs in that you normally play together. So once you enter that folder and start playing from that folder, you're probably going to stay there for 10 minutes or whatever. And the idea here is that when you're DJing, instead of going from track to track to track to track, which is difficult to do in the best of times, but when you're DJing quickly, quick mixing, it's impossible. You do it from mini set to mini set to mini set. And it's a lot easier because it's like pulling the tracks halfway out of your box. If you're an old vinyl DJ, you'll know what I mean. You'd quickly go through your Rekordbox and you'd pull out 2 or 3 that you want to play next. That's your mini set. And this is the digital version of preparing a mini set like that, or lots of mini sets like that. And by the way, you can hide all these in a folder, right? You don't have to have them all over the place like that. You can make a special folder and hide them all in there so that your what do they call it, file tree, your file tree here stays nice, or your folder tree stays nice and neat down here, right? So you can have hundreds of these little mini sets. And so the question was, I remember the exact wording of that question there. The question was, hypothetically, if you're playing a 2-hour mini set of 80 tracks, would all your tracks be in prepared mini sets, or would you have some flexibility to play track from track? What I would do would be prepare my mini sets, and then I would take the tracks from the mini sets and put them into a playlist for that night in order, right, in chunks. And that way I know that once I'm at that part of the playlist, I'm going to stay there. The good thing about making playlists in your DJ software like this is that you can put the tracks in any order you want. You can pull them and drag them around. Whereas in the main part of your library, you can't. These tracks have all disappeared. They were just on my desktop. But I can't rearrange these tracks. It won't let me. But I don't know if it'll let me do this because it can't find the tracks. But it might do. It might let me rearrange them here and show you. Let's get the order sorted. Don't think it will actually, just because it can't find them. Oh, I see it will. Look, you see how I'm rearranging those tracks? You can do this in playlists in DJ software. You can't do it here. It's another reason to work out of playlists and not out of your main library. So the point I'm making here is that I would still build a set for that gig, but within that set I would have my tracks in mini sets. And the other thing to remember here is you don't have to, if you put a track from your library into one little playlist, you don't have to then, it doesn't mean you can't put it in another one and another one. You can have tracks all over the place in your playlists. And once you've kind of done this a few times, you might be more confident to just to turn up and play out of your mini sets. And if you want to go into your main collection, well, you can do that, knowing that you can fall back on stuff you've semi-prepared. The other thing people always ask about playing from mini sets is, once I'm starting in a mini set, do I have to play them all? But no, not at all. Generally you won't, but generally you're putting together in little bundles of tunes the stuff you might play once you get to that part of the night or that part of your set. It's all explained much better, I have to say, in that article that I was showing you there. So do go and take a look at that article on the Digital DJ Tips website, Complete Guide to DJing with Radio Edits. And if you want us to actually show you and give you ways of doing this and give you tracks you can do it with and talk you through mixes, go and take a look at our mixing for wedding and mobile DJs, or mixing for mobile and wedding DJs actually course. It's our brand new course, only came out a few weeks ago. It's $100 off in our sale for Black Friday week. And in this course, we go through everything I just talked about, but then we give you 31 done for you transitions that you can learn and drop into your own DJ sets that really do show off DJing with radio edits, DJing with the biggest tunes in the world. It's a great course. It's done really well so far. We're very proud of it. Go take a look. Right, let's grab another live question. As I say, loads and loads of them coming in. I will try and get to as many as I can, people. But we're live here on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Digital DJ Tips. Happy Thanksgiving, says Mark, and to you, Mark. Avellino, can anyone tell me what happened to the Traktor Kontrol S8? If you know the Traktor Kontrol S8 controller, right, are you picturing it? If you're someone who knows Traktor and who knows that controller, just picture it now. Now say in your head what it is about that controller that they got wrong. It was these, or a lack of them. Traktor tried with the S8 and the S5 to make controllers that didn't have jog wheels. Richie Horton was saying, you don't need jog wheels anymore. Traktor quite boldly, they weren't the first, Novation were the first with a controller called the Twitch, but they weren't the first, but nonetheless they said, well, we'll try and make some controllers without jog wheels. They had touch strips instead, but they just didn't catch on. And so they were nice devices, there was nothing wrong with them, but it turns out DJs just like to control their music with something that spins. And so what happened to the Traktor Kontrol S8 is that they stopped making it. Doesn't mean it doesn't still work, it works fine with Traktor, and if that's the controller for you and it has got lots of good stuff about it, then there's nothing wrong with continuing to use it, but they don't make it anymore and they don't sell it anymore is the reason. Jack is saying a Roland 707M would be a good controller to go to if you want to move from Dex to Serato using a controller. I agree with you completely, it's a great controller. Thank you for pointing that one out there. The next one is from DJ Ord, who says, oh, my friend, it's a very, very, very specific query. So I'm not gonna take time trying to answer that. I haven't got the unit here to plug it in and help you. However, if you ask it on our Facebook page rather than on YouTube, it won't disappear at the end of the live, and someone, I'm sure, can get to you there. This is from a chat between our regulars, Mixmaster G and Cham2K. Rumor about when the next Rain controller is going to be released. Right, well, the point about the next Rain controller, we already know. We had an article about this on Digital DJ Tips. So look, if you don't regularly go to our website, you should, because all the gossip is on there. So on Digital DJ Tips recently, we were talking about this controller because it was teased by Rain. So I'm now scrolling down through all the news that has come out recently, and here it is. It was a controller that was teased by Rain on their socials and so on, that clearly has control for acapellas and instrumentals. In other words, it's a stems DJ controller. And we're pretty sure now that this is a Serato DJ controller, and it's coming soon to control stems. Now we know that Serato has got stems in beta at the moment. We were looking at that software a second ago. But the point is, until this is released, as in the software, they ain't gonna release the controller. So we're waiting for Serato to release that software. And one thing we know about Serato is they don't rush at these things, they get it right. So the point about this is that the controller is not gonna come out until that software comes out. So keep an eye on the software, and then that will be your indication of when the controller is coming. And we've already said, even on this broadcast, we've already said we've got no idea when that software is coming. I cannot give you anything more there. Hassan says, turntables for life. Salute to the real essence of DJing. Yeah, but look, times move on. I would never recommend any new DJ go to the expense of buying turntables nowadays. This is from Mr. Deja Vu King. I'm trying to decide whether to get the Roland 707M or the Pioneer Flex 6. Roland has a drum machine, Serato Pro, connectivity, but the Flex 6 has Rekordbox, etc. I will be very, very frank with you. It's very easy. If you want to use Rekordbox, you cannot get the Roland 707M because it only works with Serato. If you want to use Serato, stop thinking about it. Buy the 707M. In every other way, it is a massively superior controller. The Flex 6 is a consumer controller in a big box. The 7070M might be in a compact unit, but it is a 100% professional piece of kit. The audio quality, the inputs, the outputs, the technology in it, what you can do with it is worlds, and I mean worlds apart from the Pioneer DJ Flex 6. If you want the tech and you want something that you can use in professional environments and it's got all the flexibility that you need, plus the sound quality that you need for those environments, it has to be the Roland DJ 707M. I do have one here somewhere, but I can't see it. Oh, I can. Shall I run and get it? Shall I run and get the 707M? It's one of the most underwhelming controllers to look at out there, but those who know really know. This is what the 707M looks like from Roland. It is literally one of my favorite controllers of the last few years. It's got complete control over everything Serato does, and very few other controllers have that. Even the Pioneer DDJ 1000 SRT Serato controller doesn't control everything Serato does. This does. As you say, it's got a built-in sequencer, it's got built-in drums, so you can do re-drums live on it. It's got a zone output, so you can send different music to a second set of speakers on one of the channels and still have 3 to DJ with yourself. It's got built-in compression, it's got built-in equalization over the output, so you can set your EQs and so on for the room that you're in, and then DJ with everything else at 12 o'clock, and it will compensate for the room. So it's like having an output mixer. Even better, you can save all those. So if you regularly DJ at lots of different venues, you can just dial up your settings for that particular venue. Lots of mic inputs, lots of professional outputs. It's just a very, very nice controller. Very, very underrated unit, actually. I'd say it probably is my favorite Serato controller of all time. So it's worlds apart from the Flex 6. The Flex 6, I think, is an underpowered unit for what it looks like. It looks like it could be quite good, but honestly, it's for playing with at home. That's a professional unit. So unless you want Rekordbox, then don't go for the Flex 6. Let's grab another live question. This is from Jose, who says, Mac OS Ventura is not compatible with Engine DJ. Do you know when they will update to continue using with Denons and Mixon Pro, etc.? It's not compatible with Serato yet either. No, but it will happen. So my rule is don't upgrade to a new operating system until they've announced the next version of it. That is the time to upgrade to it, because other people have been the guinea pigs and other people have ironed out all the problems. DJ software is a performance thing. Not so much with Engine, have to be fair, because you only prepare on Engine. But the point is, if you're using it, if you're using your laptop as a tool to get a job done, you want other people to find out all the quirks every time the operating systems update. So wait until they've announced a new one. Wait until the developers have said the next OS is going to be called this and this is what's on it, and you can get it on our dev channels and all that. When they're talking about that, you can guarantee they've stopped working on the current one. That's the time to get the current one. There's nothing wrong with waiting. I know it's tempting, but look, it's fine. I've upgraded to Ventura on my home computer because it just sits there at home being a home computer. But this laptop here, no way, no way. This is sitting there and it's gonna stay exactly how it is, running Monterey for a while longer. So and I'm happy with that, and you should be. Right, so more live questions. This is from William, who says, I got Ableton bundled with my Mini Akai, but after months of inactivity, my account has expired. How do I contact Ableton? I have Ableton Lite 9. I don't actually know how you would do that if you have got it. If you had a trial and you activated it, then there's nothing you can do and that trial's gone. But if you had a kind of like perpetual light version, then it should continue to work. So I don't know, maybe go to the support link on their website for that. Mr. Deja Vu King is talking about the Pioneer 1000 SRT for Serato. It would be overkill, says Mr. Deja Vu King, for a first controller. But just like you said a few streams ago, the new mark has only got Serato Lite. Right, so this is actually, let's talk about software. This is something that is always worth talking about, because especially with Christmas coming up, and especially with austerity and no one's got much money at the moment, I don't want you guys and girls making a mistake like some DJs will do when they don't know any better. So let's talk about what that mistake is. If you were to buy this is the Pioneer DJ DDJ Flex 4, $300, comes with Rekordbox, a particularly decent piece of DJ software, and you get a particularly good version. It's not the top version of Rekordbox with cloud and all that, but it's a good version. You'd probably be able to use it for years without ever missing any features of the better version. So it comes with good software. Also works with Serato, but only with Serato Lite, which is the free version of Serato that's far more limited. So you would want to upgrade that if you wanted to use it with Serato. And also works with mobile apps and stuff. This is good because for your $300, you're getting a piece of DJ software, Rekordbox, that is worth sticking with. It's good software, right? Now, if you were to buy, and this is actually one time when I'm going to run over to the storeroom over here as well. You can still hear me because my microphone still works. It's just that I'm off camera. If you were to buy the Flex 6, I mean, I've been giving this controller a bit of a hard time, and I stand by that opinion of it. But nonetheless, one of the good things about the Flex 6, apart from its lovely jog wheels, undeniably lovely jog wheels, one of the good things about this is that it unlocks not only Rekordbox, the good version of Rekordbox that I just talked to you about, but Serato DJ Pro. The big version of Serato, the one that I've been showing you on our broadcast here. And that is something that you really don't want to take for granted, because a lot, if not nearly, whoa, you can't see what I'm doing off camera, but that means Roland can't see it either, which is probably a good thing. So this version of the Serato software you're looking at here is the version you want. And it ain't cheap. It's like $300 to go and buy it. So if you were to buy most beginner controllers that are made for Serato, like that's the one I just showed you, but like for instance the Rev 1, any of the mix tracks, or indeed this one here that we've got on our desk at the moment, then what you're going to find is that for your $400 or $500 you spend on this, you're getting the version of the software with it that you're going to want to upgrade. And that means you're spending about $300 again just to get the software up to professional level. And so suddenly a $500 controller becomes an $800 or a $900 controller. Whereas at least with the underpowered and slightly underwhelming, for me, Flex 6 from Pioneer DJ, at least with this, you are getting the unlocking of the full version of not only Rekordbox but Serato. So software-wise, you're getting a lot more for your money there. So I think that's about $550 or $600 for that controller, and it unlocks the software. If you're buying a DJ controller for your kids or for yourself or for your wife or your husband at Christmas, and you don't want to get caught out by having to spend a lot of money to get software that actually unlocks the full power of DJing with that unit, be careful, because very few of them actually come with the full version of the software nowadays, or unlock the full version of the software nowadays. And the Flex 6, for all its faults, does. So give it its dues. I can't remember what the question was then, but it was something along those lines, wasn't it? Let us move on. This is from Stevie D, who says, Phil, why does Serato integrate with great standalone devices like the new mark you have in front of you, but not like Pioneer with less features? Why does Serato integrate with great? So the reason Pioneer DJ doesn't integrate its software with non-Pioneer DJ controllers is it wants you to buy Pioneer DJ controllers. Pioneer DJ basically want you to buy one of their cheap controllers, and by the way, I'd never say buy anything cheaper than the Flex 4 or the DDJ 400. They have got these tiny ones. That's the tiniest one they've got. It's the DDJ 200, but there's too much missing from it. It's worth spending the extra 100 and getting a Flex 4. They want you to start with something like this and use their software, their Rekordbox software, and then they want you to move up maybe to one of their semi-pro controllers and, you know, start using the bigger jog wheels and stuff. And then they finally want you to move up to using this kind of stuff in the clubs. And that way they've kind of been with you throughout your whole DJing journey. It's a very rich DJ indeed who has this at home, because I think these are 3,000 each. I think that's 2,000. So you're looking at, you know, you could buy a car for what this setup costs. So most DJs wouldn't have this at home, but they might have a DDJ 1000 or an XDJ RX3 from Pioneer, semi-pro gear at home. Pioneer DJ want to keep you using gear with their name on it all the way through. And that's why Rekordbox doesn't work with any other hardware. But Serato's a bit different. Serato works with lots of hardware that's been licensed, and that's because Serato don't make their own hardware. So they have licensing agreements with hardware manufacturers, the Newmarks and the Reloops and the Rolands of this world, but also Pioneer DJ. And the reason, frankly, is that Pioneer DJ, before they had their own software, they used to bundle Serato software. And Serato is still probably the most popular DJ software in the world. So Pioneer DJ, I think, is kind of saying, well, we can't turn our back on that money. So they're kind of hedging their bets and playing on both sides of the fence, really, and staying in with Serato while also developing their own platform on the other side, which is good. And they're also increasingly making gear that works with everything, which I think is the best way forward. But that's why. Right, people, we are unbelievably into our last 10 minutes, which I can't, as I say, unbelievable. I just feel like I know I've only just started on all your questions. So apologies if I don't get to your question, but remember, if you buy any of our DJ courses and click on that Black Friday Super Sale banner, because they're all on massive discount at the moment, you get into a private version of what we're doing now over in our Student Hub Facebook group, where you get Steve and myself every month answering your questions, and we don't go home until we've answered them all. So if you want our time and you want a guarantee that you're going to get help, just buy anything and you're in that group for life. We'd love you to be part of our community. Let's go back to the questions then, and here they all are. Where shall we go next with a question? So this is from, let's grab this one here. Beware of fashionable DJs, says you don't like my music. They are not spending all their money on gear and music. I was saying, I'm hardly a follower of fashion, wasn't I? Yeah. Well, maybe, but there's an awful lot of DJs who do take an awful lot of care about how they look. So I'll sit on the fence on that one. This is from Teron, who says, hi Phil, do you know when the release date is for the Mixon 8 by Reloop? Shall we have a look at the Mixon 8 by Reloop? It's a really nice controller. So here's a little tip for you. If you are new to the way we work at Digital DJ Tips and new to the Digital DJ Tips website, head over to the website and click on the little magnifying glass. It'll bring up this search bar. We've got about 5,000 or 6,000 articles on everything you can imagine. Type in what you want, in this instance, the Mixon 8, and click search. And what we've got will come up. So here it is. Reloop Mixon 8 Pro for Serato DJ Pro and DJ Pro AI launched. And we say launched, we should have said announced, because this controller here, let's zoom in on it so you can see it better, is a really exciting new unit from Reloop. It controls Serato DJ Pro, it unlocks Serato DJ Pro. I think it's getting really close to the kind of functionality you get in that one that you now know I love, the Roland 707M. What they've tried to make here is an unashamedly professional controller for Serato. I know the build quality is very, very good. I know this is an all-metal device. It works with Serato, also works with phone and iPad for Algorithm's DJ Pro AI software. You can see it's got displays in the jog wheels, nice long pitch faders. It's got a stand on the back for an iPad. It's a real all-rounder, this one. And we're quite excited about it. And also, unusually, they've gone with the mirror image look on the decks. You see the decks are kind of a mirror image of each other. Your play, pause, and cue buttons are on the left-hand side on this deck, but they're on the right-hand side on this deck. And that's very unusual for DJ controllers nowadays. Funnily enough, the one I've got on the desk in front of me is a good example of the other type, and the far more common way, where these decks are the same, right? They're laid out the same. Everything's, you could cut this controller into 3, swap them like that, and it wouldn't look any different. But this one here, you can't do that because it's designed to be a mirror. You could put a mirror down the middle and it would look the same in both directions. So it's an unusual layout there, but it's got full control over the effects at the top, which is unusual now in Serato controllers. Also on the Roland one, by the way, they've kept the full control of the effects rather than the really underwhelming effects control that they tend to put on controllers nowadays for Serato. As I said, even on the Pioneer DDJ 1000, you don't get full control over Serato's effects, although that kind of comes at it from a different angle. But anyway, this is what we're talking about, the forthcoming Mixon 8 from Reloop. And we've got lots of information about the Mixon 8 on the website there, so you go take a little look at that. The point about this is, and it says more info on the Reloop website. I wonder if that link actually works. Yes, it does. So you can click the link in our article to go and find out more about it over on the Reloop website. When's it coming out? Well, there's no clues on the website, but they did say at the time, they go, works with DVS as well. Lots and lots of inputs and outputs, 2 laptops. They've only got a power brick with a adapter on the back, which I think is sad. I do like to see big chunky IEC plugs on the back of gear. It does look really, really nice. So I've been pestering them because I would like to see this in our studio and on this desk here, so I can review it and help you understand that controller. They just said we'll be in touch with you towards the end of the year, and to me that means around now, because in a couple of weeks' time it is the end of the year, as far as I'm concerned. So I will be pestering Reloop again and seeing if I can get my hands on this soon. Certainly soon, but we all know that the problem at the moment is getting stuff not only made but delivered. I was talking to people at ADE a few weeks ago, and they were telling me that the cost of getting stuff shipped, literally you finally managed to get your gear made in China or Taiwan or wherever you've had it made, the cost of getting it shipped has gone up 15-fold. 15-fold rise in shipping costs, and that's just one of the things that they're trying to deal with at the moment with the logistics. So I wouldn't like to be in that game, I have to be completely honest, but there you go. So yeah, it will come when it comes. Let's grab one of our final couple of comments then, because I do have to go in a few minutes, not least because I want to go ring my friend back, see what he wanted. One of our final couple of comments then today, and we were talking about mini sets earlier, weren't we? So this is another good question, actually. So I was talking to you about mini sets, wasn't I? I was talking to you about, in your DJ software, having little sets of stuff that you like to play together. And therefore, you might have really nice transitions. You might have something you always do. You always kind of like echo it out and flip across and do a little spin back. And then you know that you always do that because you always play those songs together, right? So you've done that 100 times. But what happens when you get to the end of a mini set and you want to move to another mini set? So we had the software open, didn't we? And we were talking about down here. Let's say you're playing in this mini set here, right? And you know how you mix these tunes here. Again, this is just an empty version of Serato. There's no tunes here, but you've got a fast pop mini set. You know how you mix from Aha into Harry Styles or whatever, right? But what happens if you get to the end of that and you want to go into your classic disco mini set? How do you get from that to that? Well, if you are someone who likes to plan your mixes, that might be something that you find gets a little bit worrying. But look, you shouldn't plan your mixes that much, and as You Don't Like My Music really truthfully and wisely says here in the comments, don't be afraid to just echo out. Just echo the tune out and start the next tune on the downbeat. As long as you stick to the one beats, right? So you're DJing away. You want to stop this track playing and start this track playing. This one's playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, right? You press that button there and it's going to go meow. Certainly if you've got your settings right. And by the way, in Serato, if you want to do that, it's the same, most software will have a version of this. You click into here and you go to the stop time. See, it's got breaking, stop time here. And you grab this and you set it to the point where when you hit the stop button on the controller, instead of just stopping dead, it goes meow, right? So you're playing 2 songs or playing 1 song and you don't know how to mix into this one. It's quick pop music. All you need to do is wait till this song's ticking away and you're counting in your head 1, 2, 3, 4. This is lined up on a 1, right? It's lined up on a big beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. On the 4 beat, 1, 2, 3, 4. You hit stop, it goes meow. And then where the 1 would have been if you left that playing, you hit there. So it's just kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That's it. You've got your volumes up nice and high, so when you hit that, it's nice and loud. And it doesn't have to be more complicated than that. And I'm going to let you into a massive secret. If you've got the right tunes for the people in front of you right now, and you know how to get the volume right on your decks, right? So you've got to get the volumes right. You can't drop from this to this and this one be half the volume, right? You've got to get the volumes right. You use your headphones to do that. You check them both in your headphones first. And as long as you're dropping into the right part of this song, there's no point in dropping from a really big pop song everyone's loving into a song where it's got 1.5 minutes of boring beats before anything happens, right? So as long as you've got the right music, you're putting it in the right order, and you're dropping into the parts that matter on the new songs, the way I just talked about, you could DJ a whole night like that and no one would care. DJs obsess far too much about mixing. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of the courses I've been talking to you about today, including the mixing for mobile and wedding DJs course that I was talking to you about just then, that's in our Black Friday super sale, this one here. Some of our courses are all about doing those really incredible mixes, those transitions that get you noticed, those transitions that pull you apart from other DJs that don't do them. But that's the icing on the cake. And that's only worth doing if you've figured out the rest. And the rest is the really important stuff. So the way we teach DJing here at Digital DJ Tips is to teach you the important stuff. Getting the music right, getting the planning right, getting the volumes right, and then knowing those really simple transitions that can move you from track to track in your set. And once you've got that right, then you can start learning all this cool stuff that is taught in our courses, which is why every single one of our courses starts with getting you prepared and showing you the basics. Because without these 2 bits here, there's no point knowing any of this extra stuff here. And it's also why our courses are great for you if you're a total beginner to this, because we start by showing you the stuff you have to know. Right, that's quite enough for today, people. I'd love to stay here all day, but I can't. I'm going to go and ring my old pal back. Thank you very much for being with us. I will talk to you again on Tuesday next week, 3 p.m. London, 10 a.m. Eastern. And I'm also back next Thursday on the same day, same time, same place for another one of these live Q&A sessions where we'll just go, answering as many as we can. I would like to say a big thank you to our regulars who are saying, great show, yes, thanks Phil. So to Yuri, Keshia, Aaron, Mixmaster G, The Rockers, You Don't Like My Music, Robert, Unicast, who says happy Thanksgiving anyway, Philip Tan, Brian, John, coming in too quickly for me to read. Thank you very much, everyone. Here's all the questions we've been dealing with today. We've had literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds as ever. So sorry if I didn't get to you, but hey, better luck next time. Get good, get out there, make the moments, and I'll see you again in another show very soon. Till then, bye-bye.